Is everybody ready? I'm Mitch McCoy. I'm the Director of Public Affairs and Information for the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. We have a few updates to share today. We are going to begin with Mayor Kara Spencer. We will then hear from Acting SEMA Commissioner John Walk, who is also a captain with the St. Louis Fire Department, who's leading our Emergency Operations Center and SEMA. And then we will get an update on restoration from Ameren. Fire Chief Dennis Jankerson, Police Chief Robert Tracy are also here in case there's questions that come up related to public safety. But in the meantime, we will introduce Mayor Kara Spencer.
Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon. It's afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. As you all know, our city is now fully in recovery mode. And over the last few days, we have assembled a team, an incredible team, to help lead us to do the work that we need to do moving forward. Over the last week, we have put together an experienced emergency management set of emergency management leaders who know exactly how to operate a successfully organized operation and long-term recovery effort like the one we have to do moving forward. Today I have with me Captain John Walk, who's been with the fire department for 36 years, has been on the ground in this emergency since day one. He is the head of Homeland Security operational planning for the fire department, and he's now leading our emergency recovery response effort. He and other leaders who have joint efforts have done an amazing job over the last few days to quickly organize this incredible, very large effort, and I have every confidence that in them and St. Louisans that we are going to notice an even stronger response from the city and our partners in the coming days and weeks ahead. Make no mistake, we are here for the long run, and we will put in every effort that we can to rebuild St. Louis. This also means that we are continuing to push for federal funds. This disaster is of massive scale, and no city in the nation can possibly shoulder this alone. The federal government, we are hoping, we really need them to step up right now, and I am pleased that FEMA has been on the ground since yesterday morning, helping us conduct the necessary assessments to make that request to the federal government and make their assistance possible. My team and the governor, our senators, and our congressmen, and I have personally will continue to push hard on this, on our federal government, to make sure that the St. Louisans, all of St. Louisans who have been impacted by this, get the help that they so badly need and deserve. To that end, I want to encourage residents to document damage. This is a very important component here, through photos and through videos. Make a list of all your damaged items, all the things that have been involved in the damage withstood by the tornado. It's important, if you do have an insurance carrier, to contact them as soon as possible to share with them the information that you've thus far gathered. We are still building out some of the resources that we have available, but I want to make clear that residents know that we have our libraries open. Of course, 2 of them have been damaged. Cabiny and Julia Davis are closed, but we have 13 other locations that are open if you need a rest or a respite from the calamity. There's a lot of uncertainty, we know that. There's also been a lot of misinformation and questions that residents have. We want to communicate clearly. We are also letting you know that we are stepping up our communication effort with an additional team of communication experts that are going to help us make sure that our residents are clearly informed and we are addressing misinformation. For example, right now we know that a lot of people are very worried about the condemnation note, the notices on buildings. We want to assure you right now that it is not our intent, nor are we going to be punishing residents in any way, shape, or form for entering your property. We're in the process right now of making those notices more clear, to clearly articulate that our job and our intent and our goal here is to inform the public when you're of the level of instability in the buildings. It's purely informational, and we are working right now to clarify that, and we'll be distributing information later today, not only on this new stickers, but on pamphlets to really better inform the public. A couple other issues that we've been getting questions about. The curfew is still in effect. This is important. We are really, really trying to ensure that this community remains safe and that we're protecting residents and business owners from any potential looting and other issues that may arise. The siren test that was conducted yesterday was successful. We are confident in our ability to issue the siren from the fire department and from the backup locations. There were some issues and they have been fully addressed within the siren deployment system. As you know, our community has been hit incredibly hard. I want to just take a moment to say that the amount of response, the level of response from the community, from community organizations and community members is truly heroic. Thank you. I also want to encourage everyone to please take a moment for self-care. Everyone is vulnerable, even those who are responding. We are all experiencing trauma, and please remember to take care of yourselves as you are working, as we are all working so hard to take care of our community. With that, I'm incredibly proud and honored and grateful to Captain Walk, who's joining us in leading this effort. I'd like to invite him up.
Thank you,
Thank
Mayor
you.
Spencer.
Thank you for being here. Ooh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. As Mayor Spencer indicated, we're past response, and we're into recovery, full recovery now. How long that will take, it's going to be a long time, but we're here for it, and we're going to handle it. Our system with our incident management team, I'd like to go into details a little bit about how we're handling it. It's National Incident Management System, Incident Command System. We're using a model that's been used for decades. It goes back to the 70s when large forest fires were being fought with hundreds and hundreds of firefighters. That's kind of a national model now for large-scale incidents, and that's what we're using, and we have an incident management team that is following that model. We break up into different groups that handle different components of it. That's the only way we can do it and still maintain our sanity while we're trying to deal with this large-scale incident. In addition to those large groups that handle different parts of it, like a couple examples, we have an operations section, we have a logistics section, we have a finance section, we have a planning section. They're handling the details of it. We prioritized 11 different things, or 11 different objectives, and I'll give you a list of a few of those and describe them real quick. Debris clearing, that's one of our priorities. You can see that's going on, and an amazing amount has occurred already. And it's ongoing, and there's a lot more to do, but we're working hard to get that taken care of. Outreach, we're getting into the neighborhoods, trying to get in contact with the citizens, the ones that have been affected, and make sure we take care of their needs as best we can. We're getting a lot of donations, and we're also in the process of making sure we can acquire the items that we need for debris clearing or whatever. And so we need to manage that situation. Make sure we're looking at warehousing, that type of thing, to be able to store the stuff that we're acquiring. Restoring power, I think we've heard updates about that. That's getting closer and closer to restoring full power. We're working on it. It concentrated down to a small area, I believe, now. So, as Mayor Spencer mentioned, FEMA's on the ground now, State Emergency Management, Small Business Association, they're assessing the damage throughout the affected area. And that's just a few examples of some of how we break down, how we manage the situation, and what are the different items we're looking at. There's more than that, but I just wanted to give you a sampling of it. My message to those that are affected by it, whose lives are turned upside down, we hear you, we care, and help's on the way. Okay? Okay.
I'd like to bring up the fire chief real quick for an update.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. What this National Incident Management System does is coordinate all of the efforts that are being used during this recovery operation. And I mean every aspect of the recovery operation is being managed through this system. So it's very robust. We're very familiar with it. We've used it before. It records, manages, documents everything that's happening. So this will be it's already a smooth operation. So we've got people in from the Region C area that are helping us manage this. We've worked with them. They worked with us before, so this is very familiar. So Captain John Walk has been he's been involved with these operations for the last 15, 20 years. So he is the capable individual to handle this. This allows us to coordinate every operation. This allows us to put the boots on the ground in the right places at the right time. It manages all of our resources, tells us what we're doing the day of, prepares a plan for the next day and the next day. So it provides for a continuity of coordinated resources and a continuity of command. So that's what this system does. Fire department, the surrounding fire departments are very familiar with it and very good at activating it and using the system to the advantage, making this recovery go much faster and much smoother. Thank you.
And lastly, I'd like to ask Ameren to come up and give a quick update on the status of electricity in our community.
Okay, start out with some updated numbers. We have approximately 2,700 workers in the field that are currently working to restore power, as well as hundreds of others that are providing logistic support for those field workers. At our peak, we had 105,000 outages, and we are down to approximately 9,000 remaining. And as was previously stated, they're in various pockets, and we're concentrating on those pockets, trying to reduce those quickly. Our goal is to try to have power restored to all those restorable customers by the end of the day Sunday, but we will continue to work until all customers are restored that are restorable. We're working with the city building commission, and we're hand in hand with them, and they're giving us direction on what is safe to restore. And so we'll continue to work with them. That's kind of a fluid situation, and we'll continue to work with that. And we have about 90% of the damaged infrastructure has been rebuilt. Approximately 90% of the damaged infrastructure has been rebuilt, and we'll continue to work. We want to assure the community that we will be here until the last restorable customer is restored. And then we will maintain a presence after that, because there's going to be work after all the lights come on. There's still work to do, and we're going to be here working with this community and working with the city to try to restore life as much as normal as possible. But we realize that this has been devastating to the community, and our thoughts and our prayers are with our fellow community members. And I want to give a big shout out to the city, because all of their agencies have really worked hand in hand with us to make all this happen. Thank you.
Thank you. In closing, I'll say just a quick things for folks that are not impacted and haven't been involved. We get a lot of questions about city services, and we're going to get those back up to normal. I want to be clear that our priority here is to address the needs of the impacted community. And so while we're asking for some grace on city services as we get this community cleaned up and we get it stabilized, so we can really, really continue the efforts of recovery. So please give us a little bit of grace. But city services, as you all know, are incredibly important to me. They continue to be important to me, and we will get those working citywide as soon as possible, recognizing that we are focusing here in the area most impacted by the tornado. With that, I think we'll take a few questions.
Mayor, a lot of citizens still struggling, of course, out of their homes.
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the federal response to this crisis?
I am satisfied that FEMA is here on the ground with us, and we are moving as quickly as possible to get them engaged in the process. And right now, I am confident that we're moving forward as strongly as we can, with every elected official working with us to make that happen. Speaking of which, I have to say, yesterday, having the almost entire contingency of elected officials from the local level here standing in unison, standing collectively together, unified in addressing this calamity, and unified in moving forward to rebuild our community is truly incredible.
Mayor, hold on a minute.
Mayor Spencer, I have in my hand here a 2024 audit of SEMA.
Okay.
Obviously, you weren't the mayor at the time, but you were on the board of Aldermen. It outlines a number of concerns, such as understaffing, saying there are only 3 employees working excessive hours, causing fatigue, errors, and injuries. Some of the other concerns are that the siren system didn't work. One thing in here even says, this is from Sarah Russell in her response, saying that similar-sized cities such as Memphis have up to 6 emergency management specialists, whereas SEMA has 1. Were you aware of this report prior to right now, or are you aware of any steps taken to address these issues?
What I can say is that we are taking steps right now, moving forward. Absolutely. I can't speak to whether that specific report, but I have been aware that we have underfunded SEMA for a long number of years. This is not new. This has been going on for some time, and it was clear to us immediately in the aftermath that we needed additional resources, and we mobilized immediately to do that, to bring in additional resources, and I am incredibly proud and incredibly confident in the team that we have in place today.
David, Channel 4.
How many? I couldn't say. I mean, it is truly incredible. I don't know the answer to that, but it is very significant. Our EOC is teaming with people, and the collaboration is truly phenomenal.
Mary, you've been very consistent saying 5,000 buildings damaged in Friday night storm. We're curious, as we continue to evaluate the scale of damage, how many of these homes do we believe were occupied? How many people have been displaced here? How many of these buildings were already dilapidated, for lack of better phrasing?
The 5,000 was the initial estimate of the number of buildings within the zone. I believe that's come down as far as specifically damaged. I don't have the specific numbers right now. We are still in evaluation phase. But as we pull those together, the number of homes that are occupied versus unoccupied, we will be sharing that with the public. It's important we get this right. It is a critical piece of getting the federal engagement from FEMA, and we are still in the process of doing that. We have dozens of builders from around the region engaged in helping us to very specifically identify the answers to your questions. There are questions that I have that we need to answer for federal engagement, and we will be getting those. We don't have them confirmed right now.
At this time, we still don't know how many people have been displaced.
We don't. I would say my guess right now is thousands. It is truly, truly a lot. It is a very, very significant number of households, people displaced. I mean, when you're in community and you're walking down blocks, neighbors, you'll be on a block. There'll be half the houses will be badly damaged and half of them will be completely fine. And neighbors are taking each other in. So the full level of displacement, whether you're staying across the street, you're staying with a friend, it's very, very difficult to quantify. So I don't have those numbers right now, but it is very significant.
What's the pressure on you to get those numbers, though? Because it seems like a lot of the onus is put on the local level right now to get information. We're asking for the federal government to show up, but it seems like the local and states have to do so much of this work right now.
Regardless of pressure, we're committed to doing the work. That work has to be done, and we're on the ground and we're doing that work because it's imperative that we get the answers to those questions.
Dana, Post-Dispatch.
Yes.
Sure, this might be for the chief. When did residents start complaining about groups walking around with guns in the affected neighborhoods?
Well, you know our curfew's in place from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I have not heard the complaints that you have right now. Our officers, because of the patrol plan that we put in place, 12-hour tours, making sure that we have 2 shifts working. We're maximizing the amount of officers doing calls for service and the strategy plan throughout the city. And then we have a plan within the impact zone. So having those complaints, if we hear them, bring them to us. We'll make sure we address them and ensure if anybody's carrying guns and not supposed to be carrying guns or don't live in the area, we'll address that. So this is the first I hear of it, but certainly if it comes to my attention, we'll address that.
So your officers aren't seeing any kind of these gun-toting young men that have been online. I know that Mitch tweeted out that you guys are doing nightly patrols to keep looting at a minimum. Nothing like that's coming up at night.
Well, even this morning, I get my report all through the night. Last night, we had no arrests. We had no curfew violations. We did have we had 6 in the last couple of days, curfew violations. I've talked about that at other press conferences. But this morning, the patrol plan is working. We're not making arrests. There was no wire thefts. There was no curfew violations. And at the same time, if people do live in the residence, they are allowed to open carry. That is part of the law of the state of Missouri. So we can address them to approach individuals, and if they're allowed to carry, they can carry. But if it's causing some other type of problem or another crime's being committed, we'll address those issues accordingly.
Cam, News 1.
So now that
that we have the restoration phase started, has the estimation of monetary damage number has changed?
It's a moving target. We are honing in on it right now. That's part of that work we're doing in assessing the total number of buildings involved, the total number, the belongings of folks. As people are accumulating that information, we're taking it in. It will continue to evolve as folks continue to just estimate how much of their own personal belongings have been affected. But it is something that we are honing in on as we speak.
So I did hear one time it was 1 billion, then they said 1.8 billion.
Yeah.
Is that number still the same range?
It's still that's the conservative estimate that we started with. We are still kind of in that same general vicinity, and it is, as I mentioned, that is a moving target. So that was really based on some aerial footage, guesstimating the number of buildings and guesstimating the assessed value of those properties. We did that in conjunction with our building division, SLDC, geo mapping, and a whole host of technology components that pulled together those figures, but they are not solid.
Public radio.
Do you have any updates on where we stand with the Missouri National Guard? I know you've been meeting with them.
We have. They've been on the ground with us as well, assessing how they can be engaged. We are honing in on the ways in which we believe that they can be engaged, but that's not confirmed right now. It should be confirmed, however, in the coming day, I would say.
Ryan Crawl.
What I didn't finish. As far we're still evaluating that. I mean, there are some public safety concerns, but really there's just a lot of outreach and general communication. We're hoping to have a humanitarian component, a significant humanitarian component to the work that they can do here for us.
Ryan.
Yeah, you mentioned this misinformation about the building division notices.
Yes.
Does that change the way that building inspectors are operating in this area? Do they have safety concerns, et cetera?
We all have safety concerns, and that is why we're focused on having this enormous team. I think it's the biggest building inspection effort that our state has ever seen. I could be wrong, but that is the way I currently understand it. And the end goal here is to inform the public. You know, if you're not a building professional, you don't know what you're not educated as to what a missing part of your roof could really do to the structural integrity of your building. And we want to make that information very, very clear and available to the residents who may be entering that space. They're going to be entering, these are people's homes, this is where they live. But we want to make sure that the caution that they need to exercise when doing that is very clear and that information is available to them, and that's the purpose of this.
Mayor, I have a follow-up on that actually. So a lot of people are confused, they're scared, they assume that their building is already condemned if they have a red sticker on it. I mean, eventually it could be. How long do people have before the condemnation process restarts?
That's an excellent question, and we recognize there has been a significant amount of confusion on this, and we are working to improve the communications on that. That deployment of information will be happening this afternoon. We're getting it out as quickly as possible. Our intent is not to scare people, and certainly not to punish people who have already been so impacted here. And we are pivoting immediately to get that more clear to folks.
How long do they have though? One person told me they thought they only had 10 days.
To get out. So I don't know the answer to that. I think there are specific circumstances, whether you're a renter, it depends on your rights as far as your own specific lease. I know that Legal Services of Eastern Missouri is working to also mobilize some folks on the ground to help educate people on their specific rights. It's not a universal component here, whether or not you own or rent, and some of those things are very specific to an individual's circumstances and their relationship with the property owner. So it is complicated. The city is working to streamline and universalize what we are communicating to property owners and the folks that would enter those properties, and that's going to be coming out today.
Mallory,
there's no timeline for resuming the condemnation process, or is there?
There should be. I don't know the specifics to that, but we are working on getting that solid today as well.
Mallory,
okay.
Fox News.
Yeah.
Just explain, whenever we've been out talking with people, there's a lot of confusion of what FEMA can provide versus what the city and the state can provide.
There is a lot of confusion. We're working through that right now. The city is deploying all resources that it has on this effort. That is very clear. We have folks working 12-hour days every single day just to get the work done. We are looking to FEMA to come and help us fund that effort. It's not something that the city has the financial backing to run for the long haul. So how this is going to play out, what the city, the state, and the federal government can come to the table is is exactly the work that we're working through right now.
A few more questions, David, Channel 4.
I wanted to double check. Maybe this is best for Chief Tracy, but we had viewers reaching out about shots fired in North and West City. One person reached out saying that there needs to be a ceasefire. How aware of the police department is this? Is this happening? Are there a lot of shots being fired?
Well, even before this tornado hit, we're always monitoring shots fired. We have ShotSpotter. We respond to all calls, whether it's calls for service through 911 or through ShotSpotter. So that's been happening before this tornado. We look at every case. We do a canvas. We look for witnesses, and we make sure that nobody is shot, so we can render first aid if there is someone. Make sure we get them to the hospital. So this is not, let's not conflate the issue of the tornado with shots fired in our city. This has been an issue, but over the years, with a good plan in place, they have been reduced, but we certainly got a long way to go. So we'll always investigate it the same way that we do outside this zone. I've told you about the patrol plan that we have in place. We are not losing the rest of the city. And because of the patrol plan at 12 hours, we actually probably have more coverage in the districts as we're doing this area. So we're going to respond in the same way that we do in a professional manner to try to make sure that those are shooting firearms, that we can try to get the trigger pullers off the street to keep our community safer.
Can I say something on that just real quickly? I just want to add, I and my team are in the affected area all day, every day. I feel safe. I feel safe. My team feels safe. We have not felt threatened. I just want to make sure that folks know that we are taking safety and security very seriously, and it continues to be an area that has challenges in that regard, no doubt. But at the same time, it is an area that, largely speaking, I personally feel safe in this community. These are neighborhoods. These are communities where people live.
I just want to add one more thing to that. And as I take a look at the report, the CompStat reports that you can see online, although we had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that ends the report for the week. If you look at this area, crime did not go up in this area as well. So you'll see that report that's coming out. It'll continue. It's something we monitor. We still do our CompStat. We still do our crime meetings. Everybody thinks continues. This is happening, but we can do both. And that's the type of thing, and my hat's off to the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, the support by the mayor, support by the governor, and the great work that's being done by 911 operators, call takers, our civilian personnel, and obviously our policemen and women in uniform that are out here doing this every day. And that's why we're keeping this area safe and the rest of the city safe. And if you look at the reports, crime is still, it has not gone up this week. And I'm monitoring all week long, and I'll be able to give you an update when this week ends. But I'm looking at it every single day.
Hold in, Channel 5. Hold on, Channel. Ellie, you've already had a couple questions. Hold in to Channel 5.
I have a two-part question here for you, Mayor. One, are there any environmental concerns? Obviously, a lot of these are older homes, may have asbestos, may have lead paint. And the second part of my question here is this city concerned that the disaster relief could be denied by the federal government? FEMA said yesterday there are still 17 applications waiting on the president's desk. He hasn't signed.
The question about whether or not they're contaminations, absolutely. We're handing out masks. We've been deploying them. We are encouraging residents to exercise extreme caution, especially when going into buildings. You can just feel it in your lungs. Yes, absolutely. We have concerns about contamination in the air. So please, everyone, exercise extreme caution and use the PPE. Number two, do I have concerns about FEMA? Yes. I mean, look, defunding the areas of federal government that we so badly need to make our communities function well is a huge problem when it comes to this and a whole host of things that the city relies on the federal government for. Do I have concerns? Yes. Do I have confidence that we are doing everything we can? Absolutely. Do I have confidence that our governor and our local electeds, our senators and our congressmen are doing everything possible? Yes, I do. And we are marching forward because that is the only thing we can do, and we're marching forward with as much strength as we have, and I have confidence in that.
Mayor, have we had reports of looting?
Looting? I think there have been a few reports of that, but to be honest, I am incredibly proud of the response from the community here. People are coming together to protect their blocks, their community, their neighbors, and it is overwhelming the amount of goodwill that the community is showing in this extremely difficult time. Anybody else?
Yeah, a follow-up to Chief Tracy. Have you seen, so we talked about crime hasn't gone up. Have you seen an
No, right now, I'll still have to evaluate. I can get back an answer through Mitch for you. We'll evaluate that. I can give you an answer on it, but they asked me out cold. I know that we're monitoring shots fired, people being shot, non-fatal shootings, fatal shootings throughout the area, throughout the city. So I can give you an answer on that. But through the specific area, if you're talking about the impact zone, that goes through 2 different districts. But I can parse that out for you and give that answer to you. Okay?
Chief Tracy.
Thank you guys very much for your Cam's the last one.
Okay, Chief Tracy. I noticed that there are some state troopers at some of the non-working lights. Is this precautionary, or are they there because they've had some issues with those people running the lights or not obeying the traffic?
Listen, we've had 4-way stop signs going because of the power outages since the beginning. I'm so happy with the community. There's minimal accidents that have happened because of that. People have complied. The one accident I was able to talk about was early in the morning. A couple of mornings ago, our officers actually were hit broadsided in the side on Kings Highway or Page Boulevard. I don't have the exact address. There's a lot of information going on. But it's been minimal. But as we've brought down and got power at these places and got a lot of these intersections going, there's some major intersections that now, because people can pick up speed because of getting through these other lights that are working, we've asked the Missouri Highway Patrol to cover a few areas for us as mutual aid. And you know what? Great partners, they've come in to do that because we want to make sure as people pick up speed as lights are going. And then even when they were working one intersection, electricity came on and I was able to move them to another intersection. So they're working hand in hand. That's the way it should be. So thank you.
David, we'll land on David, guys. We have another briefing tomorrow.
We're just trying to get some information. You know, the command center has been here basically from the get-go, but we have noted, and some people have reached out noting that the SEMA vehicle has been here and then it left and it came back. Is that unit mobile? Is that supposed to be going out of the community? Is it supposed to leave? Can you talk about who authorizes it to leave? Who authorizes it to come back? Like, how does that work?
Okay. Right now, the St. Louis Fire Department is operating the movement of the SEMA vehicle. We took it back to headquarters. We did some updates to it, brought it back. So it's on site.
Thank you guys very much for your time. Appreciate it.